Hey everyone. So I run my entire AI lead generation agency out of a Claude Code workspace in VS Code. And in this video, I want to go over some of the 11 or 12 Claude Code skills that I've built so far over the months, and 7 or 8 of them that I regularly use almost every day to manage both my outreach, so my agency's outreach, and my client's outreach as well, and managing replies and managing speed to lead, all of that, enrichment, all of that good stuff. Okay, so let's go over the actual Claude Code workspace uh, for my business, and I can show you the different skills right there. So give me a moment. I will pull up a new pull up my workspace so that you can see everything. But yeah, so this is my Claude Code workspace. As you see here, I'm currently running several things in the background. But if you go up here to um, I put my YouTube content as well here in this workspace, so you can see that I just want to be completely transparent as to like exactly what are the things that I do on a day-to-day basis, and hopefully you can learn from this as well and build some tools that help you guys as well for your own agency, for your own outreach, and so on and so forth, right? So coming from the top, you'll see that I have a list of skills here, and business integration, clean company names, client onboarding form, all of these are different skills that I have built for my business. And I can let me just quickly take a screenshot of this work tree, put it into Excalibur, and we can go over them one by one so that I can explain all of them to you, and hopefully it makes sense and you can use them as well. By the way, if you have any questions regarding the way I organize my workspace, business workspace, just comment below and I'll be happy to explain or make a dedicated video just for this. You'll see that I organized certain stuff. For example, config files, plans. .next is essentially Next.js code, modules, assets, clients, content, so on and so forth. So as you'll see here, I normally do everything, organize all of the stuff according to a software project, because Claude Code is generally more aligned to writing, to performing tasks with software or code. So you need to understand that since you are using Claude Code, you need to be a little bit more comfortable with some kinds of code workspaces in different languages, right? Python or Next.js if you're building any kind of front-end web apps, or otherwise just Python or Go or Rust, stuff like that, right? Like mostly Python, because Python is like the universal code, like coding language that everybody is using right now to build um, extremely detailed enrichments, scraping systems, and so on. Like people are posting videos about scraping any website through Claude Code, and those are all through Python scripts or a combination of Python and JavaScript. Instead of Next.js, I should probably say like JavaScript or TypeScript. So if you have questions about my workspace, let me know and I'll be happy to explain. But you'll have to be a little bit more comfortable with software and code to understand the exact mechanics. I will try to explain it as easily as possible, but right now we are only talking about Claude Code skills, so let's get into that. First, you'll see is business integration. This is essentially my all-in-one skill to manage all kinds of integrations in and around my business. By integrations, I mean connections to software tools and platforms, right? So for example, Google Workspace gives you certain apps, right? Like for example, Gmail, Docs, Sheets, and Forms, and so on, or even YouTube. So I have a Google Workspace connection through the Google Studio, like console API. So console.google.com google.com. If I do that, oops, console Google Cloud Console. So cloud.google.com. If I go to my console, you'll be able to see that I have, okay, it's asking for my password. I can do that off screen, but essentially I have built API connections, OAuth uh, connections to my business account, Gmail account, Workspace account, and Claude Code is able to access and read all my emails, draft emails for me, replies for me, create and modify docs for me, Google Docs, create and modify sheets, create and modify forms for me, and look at my YouTube stats, all of that. Forms essentially, like all of these have different use cases. For example, for Gmail, I use it every day around like 7 a.m. to look at my inbox and sort through order of priority, and I also use it to draft my emails because it by now it essentially understands the exact way that I you know it understands my voice, the way I write emails, the way I reply to people, and which emails need signature, which emails do not need signature. All of this knowledge is contained within the skill, and it knows how to do all of that. For docs, it can read and modify Google Docs. So anytime I'm sharing something with a client or sharing internally in my company, any knowledge, any kinds of knowledge can be shared in both docs and sheets, Google Sheets, right? Forms are essentially, I build custom, for example, onboarding forms for my new clients. I build sales funnels. I build sales forms, so sales feedback forms. For example, I booked them like 5 calls this week, and they will be able to provide me with feedback as to whether those calls were good, which ones were no shows. Give me Fathom links as well to give me info on how the call went, links to call recordings, any thoughts on what what was great about the call or the prospect and what wasn't so great. So these kinds of uh, feedback actually helps me target a bit better, build better prospect lists, build better offers, write better CTAs, so on and so forth. So as you see here, Google Workspace has a lot of connections, and I use it almost every day. And this is like a meta skill. So what I mean here is this is a meta skill, um, meaning other skills use this skill as their internal step. So business integration skill is not going to be used by you. It's going to be used by other skills that you make internally. So it's going to reference it within their skills. Um, so the second skill is clean company name skill. I'll try to cover all of them, but this might be a really long video. But yeah, hopefully I'll cover all of them. The second skill is essentially a clean company names skill. Essentially, what it does is you when you scrape data from anywhere, let's say you scrape an Apollo leads list, you'll see that company names are represented at, for example, ABC Inc. or XYZ LLC, or some kind of Tim's Florida company, stuff like that. Like it's a mix of legal and local and some kind of authoritative. Or for example, in my case, in marketing agencies, sometimes I have this weird way of saying marketing solutions, right? When you're reaching out to prospects, you won't be needing this entire thing. You'll only be needing ABC. For example, if you're reaching out to saw ABC work on LinkedIn, thought I'd reach out. So this is like a very simple email opener, or a simple email personalization line that you could use to actually make the person interested in your email and make them compelled to finish reading the email instead of just clicking off, right? You need to personalize it in a way that make sure that you understand what they're going through, or what they recently did. You can mention a LinkedIn post from them. You can mention a hiring activity. You can mention some kind of YouTube video if you're scraping, people off YouTube, and so on, right? So if you write, instead of ABC's work, if you write ABC LLC's work, nobody is gonna think that you wrote this email for them. They're gonna just click off the email, archive it, or worse, mark it as spam. So essentially, the clean company name scale is essentially just doing that, which is making sure that all of our company names, when we reach out, and these will be variables, right? uh, each company name will be written like this. So company name, whatever sequencer you're using, for example, in SmartLead, you'll be doing this. So inside these curly brackets, um, all of the leads company names will be populated, and these apostrophe will just work like this. So instead of this, it will become ABC's work, right? This is what the output will be. Um, that's the second skill, and it's very necessary. I have talked about this in my other previous videos as well, but this is essentially the casualization skill that I talk about. Casualization of company names. If you don't do this, you'll come across as a robot, and somebody like completely amateur, and your reply rates will be like 0.2, 0.3%, because literally nobody will want to reply to a automated weird ABC LLC's work email like that, right? The client onboarding form is like a recent skill that I've built. I used to do this just completely on memory. There's a thing called memory, and there's a Claude.md file. I'm sure most people in the Claude Code Workspace field domain actually understand this. Client onboarding form is essentially what I talked about here. People will give me data on, for example, onboarding is essentially, asking them for their kinds of prospects they want to work with, right? Kinds of prospects they don't want to work with, the size of companies they want to work with, for example, 10 plus headcounts, for example, revenue of the said companies, the kinds of decision makers they typically want to talk to. Not all agencies, or not all prospects that you actually are doing this for will want to talk to the exact CEO or the owner of the company, especially if you have like 100 plus headcount company. You won't actually be targeting the owner or the CEO directly. You might be targeting some kind of like, marketing director or a sales vice president or so on, right? So onboarding form is essentially getting all of these data in a very compact format. I have like 20 to 30 questions for each client that I do, that I have to get before the kickoff call. So this is the onboarding form. The fourth one is, this is the fourth, right? Yes. The fourth one is daily reply queue. This is my most fun skill. So daily reply queue. Let me quickly go over. So daily reply queue is essentially, it has made my life so much easier that I'm really excited to talk about this. So daily reply queue essentially does the following things in order. First, it uses my SmartLead. SmartLead is my sequencer. So the way I send cold outbound to prospects at scale, I send thousands of emails per day, and this software is essentially how I do it. Uses my SmartLead API connection to look at my, for example, um, look at my inbox. And by inbox, I mean the master inbox, which has replies from literally every campaign I have active right now, right? Um, and the way I will invoke this skill is essentially I will type into Claude Code Workspace that give me the reply queue for X client, or I can say, whoops, give me the reply queue for my agency. And this is actually going to do these steps. The first step is essentially looking at my master inbox. Then it will triage. So it will triage as to which clients' campaigns those replies belong to. And it will make a list of all replies. Okay? Make sense so far? once it has a list of all replies, it will look at all of those email threads, right? It will read those threads, then it will see if I or someone in my team, probably an appointment setter, so appointment setter, has replied to it before, um, replied to it today or yesterday. I try to maintain either a daily cadence or a 1 day in between, so every other day cadence of replies. Yesterday, it will see if we have warm called the prospect by looking at my CRM. So in my case, I have like a custom CRM just for myself. I built it entirely in Claude Code, and since I already have like software experience, I know what I'm doing. So I've essentially built my own CRM. I built my own leads database, and I could show it to you sometime. Uh, Actually, let me just after this, let me show it to you. Right, it'll look at the status of that prospect, essentially that lead, and if we haven't replied or warm called again, it'll actually just make a new list of leads and put it on there. And finally, it will do that for the entire, so if we have been running like 3 campaigns for a client, we'll have around, I don't know, like 20 replies to attend to for the prospects who haven't booked a call yet, right? And we need to be following up with these prospects. We need to be calling them. We need to be reaching out to them all the time until they either say go away or book a call, right? This is how the sales process, like appointment setting process works. So we need to be on top of all of these replies. This is essentially one of the main things that people get wrong. Like they get a reply, they reply once or twice or thrice, and then they forget about it. And that lead has, you got that lead by spending a large amount of money and time. And if you just let it go without actually doing your follow-ups to a certain amount of time, for example 14 days, in my case I always try to follow up with prospects at 14 days. Sometimes I always even do it through like a 30 days or more, because sometimes it doesn't matter to the prospect as to because sometimes our offer is so good. And I've had this before. I've mentioned this in a previous video as well, but I got a call from a prospect who replied to me literally like 36 or 38 days before. So I think I got a reply from him on April 18th, and I got a call booked from him on about May 23rd. Oh no, May 29th or something. So it was like a really long time, but I was following up with him very consistently, and I got a call booked. So and I got paid, right? So the the main thing is that you need to be on top of replies, top of leads, and once we have this list, list of all leads who are waiting for our replies, we'll be essentially using Claude to draft those replies. And finally, it will ask me for approval on those replies. Once I approve or once I edit and approve, it will automatically send those replies through those email accounts and through the API connection without me ever having to touch the SmartLead like UI. I don't have to go into the app, click on the lead one by one, and then sort through, read the replies, and then draft the email reply, and then call them up, so on and so forth. It will automatically build a reply queue, draft me new emails, look at my CRM and see if I've called them or not, give me a list of leads which need calling immediately, and it will generate all of the draft replies as well, which I can approve, and it will send it to them automatically. This is an extremely efficient skill that I've built for my agency and for my clients as well. And this is like one of the best things ever. It's just it's mind blowing how much time it saves me. This one skill has saved me at least 5 hours a week. if not more. I have probably more because I have like four or five clients right now, and I'm gonna have more and soon. So this is gonna save me so much time. I think I've hammered the point home by now. So let's go to the next one. Findymail Enrich. So Findymail Enrich is essentially just using Findymail service. So Findymail is your platform to enrich email, phone, and company data, as you see here. It also has an API, which I have connected to my Claude Code workspace. And now it can use the API to just enrich my emails. So it can enrich decision makers which don't have an email. It can enrich just based on company domain. So it can bring new decision makers to your leads list just by giving Find Email API the name of the company and the domain of the company, for example, companyname.com, and giving a decision maker title that you want an email for example, owner, founder, or head of marketing, and so on, right? Um, Extremely simple, does the job every time. You don't have to build CSV list, go to the UI of Find Email, upload the CSV, wait for it, and then get the list back, get it into the workspace, then do a deduplication again. Those things take so much time doing manually. This one skill does it all in like step by step. So this is amazing. GDoc sync is essentially a kind of an older skill. GDoc sync is essentially, Google Docs sync, as you might already infer from the name. It looks at some Google Docs. By docs, I mean both docs and sheets and forms. It looks at different Google Docs. If I'm referring to, for example, a doc by a name in my Google Drive, it will pull up that doc. All of the content in that doc will be pulled automatically from the API, from the Google Workspace API, and it will automatically just give me whatever's there, give me a summary, or draft me new stuff in Google Docs as well. It's very simple. It's kind of similar to business integration, except that um, I haven't really bothered to remove this skill in favor of business integration. Claude just decides if it wants to use Google Docs sync skill or the business integration skill. uh, Finally, we have Meta Ads Report. Meta Ads Report is essentially I download a CSV of how ads are performing for some of my clients over the course of 2 to 3 weeks, and I can upload that CSV file containing the name of the ads, name of the ad sets, and so on. How many results they had, so cost per lead, cost per click, CTR ratios, all of that data is contained in that spreadsheet, and I do not want to infer whatever that data means, and then what conclusions can I derive from that. So I'll just upload that sheet to my Claude workspace. It will use this skill to automatically generate the report and tell me exactly which ads are working and which ads are not working. So essentially kill which ads were not working and generate more ads based on the winning ads, to test more angles on those same offers and same kinds of ads that are working, right? The next one is Outscraper Scrape. So Outscraper is essentially a Google Map scraper, and I think it has other things as well. Outscraper is essentially okay. Uh, Let me just remove this outscraper.cloud. Whoops. Outscraper.com is a business data enrichment platform. Extremely easy. It gives you Google Maps. It'll take some of queries. For example, if you want to search for meds or dentists in Florida, it'll actually take this query and anything else, any other filters that you want. For example, we only want businesses with a website. So it will filter for all of that. It will scrape Google Maps and give you the results in a form of CSV. Extremely nice to do all of this automatically by just, speaking to the Claude, saying that I want 5,000 dentists scraped from Florida, and it will literally give me the CSVs in like 5 to 10 minutes by using the API. And once again, it has an API which is extremely nice. Let me just show you Google Maps reviews. Okay, this is a different API, but you get the idea, right? You just need to copy this URL and paste it in Claude, and it will generate a skill that will be using some Python scripts that will look up dentists in Florida, scrape their business websites, get make the API calls, get their business data, make a CSV, and so on. So in like 5 to 10 minutes, you'll have 5,000 businesses that you can reach out to, or you can enrich with a previous skill that we talked about, which is Findymail enrich, right? Next is premium proposal. So as you know, I generate lots of proposals with people that I do discovery calls with. For example, if I have a prospect in my pipeline for whom I've made up my mind that this is a good prospect to talk to, and I can generate good results for this prospects. So what I'll do is I'll get off the call and I'll generate a proposal for this guy. Um, my agency, essentially, I generate proposal exactly in this format, which is, it's extremely attractive, and it looks really nice. And the thing with premium proposals is that it can take the Fathom API to pull your sales call. It will look at what you promised, what the offer is supposed to be, what are their pain points, what is the solution, exact solution with details. All of that will be compressed into a knowledge base, and that will be put into the proposal. So I literally have to just make sure to tell my Claude Code that pull my latest Fathom transcript with John and give me a proposal. And it will literally ask me some questions if there's something is not clear. It will ask me questions like, do you want this offer or this offer? For example, if something is not clear, it will literally ask me questions. Once I clarify, it will generate the proposal exactly in the style of my website, and it will be very attractive. I can show you some of my proposal. But those proposals are still pending, maybe later. But those are, exactly in the style of my website. So, this is extremely nice. And I can send that link directly to my client in like within 30 minutes of getting off the call, right? So extremely simple and useful. I don't have to generate a PandaDoc proposal by myself or DocuSign proposal by myself. I don't have to pay $65 to a PandaDoc to access the PandaDoc API. I can just do that, uh, you know, I can just do that with this skill. And it's extremely nice, cost effective. I just use one Cloud Code subscription to do all of this, and I don't have to spend extra for just, building proposals and sending agreements and so on. Um, this is also extremely customizable, and it's like a great skill. Quick reply, I think I'm forgetting what I use it for. Let's move on. I will come back to this later. Redeploy landing page. So redeploy landing page is essentially, I sometimes make changes to my landing page to showcase more case studies or more YouTube videos of mine. So some YouTube videos are performing extremely well for me. So thank you for that. Thank you for subscribing. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. I'm posting one video per day right now because I have so many ideas I want to make videos around. And if you have any more ideas, just let me know in the comments as well. But when I want to update my landing page, it will just look at my YouTube videos or look at some client results that I have. Those files are, those data, those files are already in my Claude Workspace. I literally have just to tell them that, okay, let's update my landing page with these facts, these things, and it will just use this redeploy landing page skill and just generate me the new landing page. It's so easy, and like I don't have to think about writing the case study myself. It will just take what I already have and just make sure that my new case study is represented in the exact same manner, right? The next thing is sales letter editing. So sometimes I make uh, new sales letters for my clients and myself. For myself, I'm not making it right now because I already have like a very high performing VSL, but I do make sales letters for my clients if they need to, for example, target a different area of the market, if they're looking to build more outbound systems. So not just cold email, but maybe cold calling, or if they are looking to build content systems, or if they're looking to build meta ad systems. So I essentially try to provide the entire package with just my agency. They don't have to work with like 5 different vendors. And this sales letter essentially is used in making, for example, a VSL and a landing page or a webinar page and so on, right? Um, Scraper.tech is essentially another platform for Google scraping Google Maps. Scrape.do or tech. Okay, where did it go? Good lord. Okay, Scraper.tech is extremely cheap to use, and it has a bunch of APIs. You can scrape Facebook, you can scrape Google Maps, and you can scrape some other APIs as well. For example, Threads API. If your audience lives on some of these platforms, you can use it. Um, so I use it for scraping LinkedIn, and I use it for scraping Google Maps, all of that. And SmartLead analysis is essentially, whenever I'm running a campaign, this one is also extremely useful. So SmartLead has at any given time, like 2 campaigns active for me, at least 5 to 8 campaigns active for my clients. uh, Combined. I have a small number of clients right now, but I'm actively like getting more, so it's only gonna increase, right? So it's like at any given time I have about 5 to 10 uh, campaigns running, and it's like extremely hard to, it'll take the entirety of Sunday, or if I want to generate more ideas, more leads to scrape, more offers to test, etc., to test from Monday, for example. It will take the entirety of Sunday to look at all of the data, which campaigns are working, which offers are working, which email variations are working, and so on, to actually come to a conclusion. And I'll have to do that for each and every campaign one at a time. And as you've guessed it by now, I think this SmartLead analysis tool will actually look at all of the data from campaigns. So the reply rates, the positive reply rates, the number of calls booked, all of that. And it will just use the SmartLead API as I've already explained it to you. And it will just give me a complete snapshot of data in like 5 minutes. So once again, this is like an extremely valuable thing to manage my day-to-day campaigns. And the data is always correct because it's using real-time data. It's not hallucinating anything. And if you think there's some hallucination, you should do that when constructing the skill. You should analyze that. Okay, it's saying that it detected 55 replies from the past week. Maybe I should just cross-reference the SmartLead UI as well to see that, okay, I did get 55 replies. If you got 100 replies and it's only showing 55 replies in your Claude Code workspace, meaning that the skill is somehow interpreting certain things wrong, and you'll have to change the skill to do that. That's also doable, and it'll take you 5 to 10 extra minutes to tweak the scale to have accurate data. But again, like once you set it up, it's like a one line command to Claude Code. So you'll say that um, give me the campaign stats for the last week for this client or for myself, and it'll look at all of those active campaigns and give you what's working, what's not working, what kind of messaging is working, how many leads contacted, how many leads replied, how many out of office replies, how many real replies, how many how many positive replies, how many calls booked, and so on. Next, we have SmartLead campaign clone. This is also another SmartLead wonderful time-saving skill. So it'll use the SmartLead API to essentially, take one active campaign that I already have running and clone it so that I can test new offers or test a new campaign and so on. And remember, we have enrichments and scraping and all of that being done in our workspace as well. So you'll see that we have scraped certain stuff, we've enriched using Findymail and AnyMail Finder and other services as well. So we have a good list of leads, and we have a campaign to clone. So using these two things, it will actually, clone a campaign in SmartLead. So it will be drafted, and I it will automatically put all of these list of leads once you have it prepared into that campaign, so that you only have to go inside and just edit the copy to make sure that all of the variables and everything looks okay. You can send or receive like test emails as well, so that you understand that okay, all of these details are correct. And you can just look at certain stuff, for example, choose the email accounts, and in most cases these email accounts are already pre-selected because you've just cloned an existing campaign, so all of that settings are already there, and you can just launch it after you've modified the copy. That's it. So it's an extremely useful skill once again. I keep saying it, but yeah, these skills have made my life so much easier. Finally, we have transcribe videos and YouTube ops. Essentially what I'm doing right now is essentially a part of YouTube ops. So what my YouTube skills are doing, both of them, look at trends of what videos other people are making that are successful. Look at my history of posting. So I'm posting a lot of videos right now, and I want to keep track of what videos are performing due to what metrics are better and what metrics are worse and what metrics are stagnating and so on. So metrics such as view time. So you know I started at around like 1 minute view time, which is horrible. I'm now at around 10 minute view time. I think 9 minute view time. So if somebody is taking 9 minutes out of their life to watch my videos, it's amazing. So I consider it extremely amazing. So view time, click-through ratio. So whenever my videos appear on the homepage of somebody's YouTube feed, do they click on it? I have about, I think, 4% CTR, which is really good, right? Um, I also look at certain stuff like search results. If I'm appearing in searches for example, AI agency or Claude Code or business workspaces and so on. So YouTube Ops is essentially, helping me build this database of good ideas that have worked for me, and help me make more content. The ideas are still mine. I still have like a lot of things that I want to cover in other videos, and this is essentially a summary of everything that I wanted to talk about today. Cloud Code skills, and everything that I use on a day-to-day basis. If you have any questions around it, I'll be happy to answer. Just comment below and subscribe if you haven't. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye bye.